Minister, thank you for speaking to Euronews. You've been discussing further restrictive measures on Russia today, yet overnight we saw those strikes on Kyiv, killing 9 people, leaving a big religious and cultural site in flames. Is the EU moving quick enough and hard enough to limit Russia's capacity here?
I think we could be much faster and we could be also more dynamic, meaning that we have the whole set of proposals that we know where there is a unanimity, so part of that we are adopting today, so sort of interim package. But in the same time already for the 21st package we also have, for the next sanctions round, we have quite a number of proposals that could be agreed. So we would be in favor of, being much faster and not waiting for the big package per se, and not going through the whole list of confessionals, but actually being much more sort of in accordance with what is happening in reality. Also on the import bans and tariffs, already since January, together with other Nordic Baltic countries and a few others, Poland and Germany, we have proposed a number of measures which have not advanced, so we would be very much in favor of making sure that those measures are also implemented. And there we don't even need unanimity, it's 2/3.
Meanwhile, President Zelensky is due to meet G7 leaders in Evian tomorrow. What do you hope out of this? Do you think the US will now move to inject more momentum into peace talks? And should the EU be getting more involved here to make this peace process resume?
Again, the outcome of real peace process is not there for the lack of trying. I mean, everybody has tried. Ukraine tried, US tried, European Union has supported fully the efforts, to reach an outcome. There is no outcome because of Russia's unwillingness to really take out its proposals that are not acceptable. So whether it's trying to gain territories through negotiations which it can't win on the battlefield, whether it's political conditions, Russian as official language is de facto would mean elimination of Ukrainian language identity and so on and so forth. And actually these attacks last night also came after President Trump's long conversation with Zelensky and Putin both. And for me it's a sign that, again, Russia is not able to take Ukraine to win the war. It's not able to occupy Kyiv by force. So it's trying to eliminate Ukrainian identity. That Peshchersky Lover and the whole complex of the buildings is older than the Notre Dame in Paris. And it's older than anything Russia has had or the idea about Russia itself. So this is where they are not able to take it by force, so they are trying to eliminate it. It's not going to happen. Ukraine wants freedom. Ukraine wants to be in European Union. Ukraine has a European identity. And this is something that is important for the whole world, the whole Christianity.
Yet some European leaders, notably Macron of France, Meloni of Italy, have in the past called for the EU to be more actively engaged in peace talks. Do you think now there's a shift in the way they think, and they might be rethinking the EU's role in peace talks, and maybe even thinking that it's not the right time right now to engage?
I just don't see the preconditions. Again, if Russia doesn't change these requests, these crazy conditions that it has put forward, the outcome is not going to be different than from the US talks. So the preconditions are just not there. What we are seeing, all instruments of power currently in Russia are geared towards war, whether that's, the policy itself from the Kremlin, these political conditions, but also the private sector, civilian sector is being cannibalized for war economy. That's why the results in the economy are what they are, the inflation, the credit loan percentage, so on and so forth. But also the media, there is no any kind of checks and balances within Russia. It's a vertical of power that is all about war. How can outcome be different, whether it's Europeans or Americans or anybody else trying to engage? It's going to be the same. There's really on the battlefield and support to Ukraine and limiting Russia's ability to wage the war, which will change and which will bring peace.
Finally, Minister, I'd like to ask you about the proposal to ban the entry of Russian soldiers engaged in the war in Ukraine into the European Union. Some have criticised these proposals as unfeasible, unrealistic. Did you make any progress in your talks with your counterparts today?
No, I think politically everybody is in favor. The question is how to do that. In our view, the Schengen visa code will need to be updated and changed, and that is a big positive thing about it. Because, of course, who wants to have Russian soldiers on our grounds, in our territories? Nobody wants to have it. But it's about the techniques, how we achieve the outcome.
Maybe just a final question, if I may. There has been an ongoing discussion this week about the role of the High Representative of the European Union. There has been a French paper proposing a rehashing of that role and the EU's foreign policy arm, the EAS, perhaps. What is your view on this from Latvia? Do you think that Kaja Kallas is doing a good job in the role? Does the nature of that role need to change at all?
Kaja Kallas is doing a good job, of course. She has brought some order to the council, and the discussions that we are having are quite constructive. Obviously, she's very outspoken, as the High Representative should be. Mr. Borrell was such, as the others have been. So it's actually up to the member states to support the High Representative and to have the consensus behind her. So on the methods of work, it's about a service. I won't comment on that because that's not my institution. I'm responsible to run my own ministry together with civil servants, so I try to do it as good as I can.